Just days after the Morgan Stanley report mentioned how India has transformed over the last decade, Nomura now believes that India is set for the best decade of the economic growth since the year 2010. Now, brokerage firm Nomura expects that India will register a compounded annual growth rate of 6.6% between the financial year 2023 all towards the year 2030. Now, this will mark the strongest phase of growth since the financial year 2010 and also close to growth seen anywhere between the financial years of 2003 to 2010, which was aided by a surge in capex. Now, this brokerage house now believes that reforms and a higher capex will help India to grow by nearly 6.6% over the medium term. Although it also believes that slowing economic or global growth and also the delayed impact of RBI's rate hikes can actually impede the near-term growth for India, but India's medium-term outlook really appears brighter. Now, Nomura also sees that India is in a sweet spot over the next decade as it is emerging as a leading beneficiary of shifting supply chains as well. Other factors also include focus on reforms, incentives for manufacturing firms under the PLI scheme, the digitization of public services, and a focus on public capex at large. Now, the brokerage house also believes that India's equities will also continue to trade at a premium to the global peers, and this will be driven by the stable macro conditions, a positive medium-term growth outlook, and also higher earnings visibility. Now, Nomura expects domestic inflows through SIPs to continue to support the elevated valuations. Indian markets are traded at an average premium of 45% to the emerging market index, which has expanded to over 90%. Before scaling back to around 60% currently, and that's as per Nomura. It also sees limited earnings disappointment from a medium-term perspective due to the resilient growth outlook that India has. Also, equity markets present limited upside potential, it believes, in the near term, as the market will continue to negotiate the ensuing cyclical slowdown, but foundations are in place for sustainable growth over the medium to long-term perspective. And therefore, Nomura views that any market correction could be an opportunity to buy for investors. Nomura also prefers the domestic-oriented sectors and companies, and also sectors which are an immediate beneficiary of the government's investment-led growth push. And therefore, it has listed its stock picks or the top stock picks within this space, including Larsen & Toubro, which has a presence across various segments of infrastructure and industry, KC International, which is a play on the rising capex on power transmission, which further benefits from the augmentation of renewable power capacity as well, and also Honeywell Automation, which is a beneficiary of the private capex in automation and also digitization. It also believes that financials are another preferred picks from Nomura as a direct play on the India growth story. Now, its preferred picks from this basket include a range of banking stocks like ICICI Bank, Axis Bank, and IndusInd Bank. On the flip side, however, Nomura expects demand uncertainty likely to persist in the financial year 2024 for the Indian IT services companies. And since the tech budgets are also likely to be hit due to the cost savings going forward, and this sector valuation is still high and margin improvement is likely to be gradual due to the weaker growth outlook going forward. Now, lastly, it also expects the consumer discretionary space to be a long-term beneficiary of India's growth story, but the near term, it envisages a correction in the appliances space as valuations are elevated and a cyclical slowdown is ongoing. Now, within the auto sector also, it expects the passenger vehicles or the medium-heavy commercial vehicles to slow down, while mass segments like two-wheelers may actually recover due to the low inflation rate and also low base. So these are the key themes that Nomura expects investors should be betting on in case they want to bet on the next decade of growth for the India growth story.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.